actually have studied your plan, and it includes upgrading 4 million buildings, weatherizing 2 million homes over 4 years, building 1.5 million energy-efficient homes.
We are going to be in a position where we can create hard, good jobs by making sure the environment is clean and we all are in better shape. We spend billions of dollars now, billions of dollars on floods, hurricanes, rising seas. We're in real trouble. Look what's happened just in the Midwest with these storms that come through and wipe out entire sections and counties in Iowa. They didn't happen before. They're because of global warming. We make up 15% of the world's problem. We, in fact, but the rest of the world, we've got to get them to come along. That's why we have to get back into the Paris Accord.
All right, gentlemen.
Wait a minute, Chris. So why didn't he do it for 47 years? You were vice president. Why didn't you get the world? China sends up real dirt into the air. Russia does, India does, they all do.
What do you mean that he didn't do anything about this when he was vice president? Dude, he just said it. The Paris Climate Accord, we need to go back into it, which is, by the way, the least of what we need to do. You took us out, Trump. He just said it. So it doesn't work. He used that playbook with Hillary Clinton in 2016 to say, well, why didn't you do anything about it when Bill was in the White House, when you were a senator, blah, blah, blah. And that works when you're an outsider candidate and you can just go after politicians, rightfully so oftentimes, for not putting the American people first, putting corporations first, being incompetent, being beholden to special interests, whatever. That works, but now there's a record, Trump, of almost 4 years of you being in office, so we have that to go on. And you took us out of the Paris Climate Accord, and now there are wildfires ravaging the entire west of this country, which are directly associated with climate change. And so, at least climate change was discussed. Chris Wallace, who's mentioned multiple times at the beginning, and I know a lot of people think he did a terrible job. I'm almost like at a loss of what you could even do with Trump. I felt for him in a sense, but the initial topics that Wallace selected, this deserves criticism. Climate change wasn't even on there. Wasn't even on there. And so he responded to pressure and put it on. But that was the one moment of substance for me where Biden was able to speak coherently about a policy vision from a debate that was all Trump shouting over people and going below the belt about, say, Biden's family or not condemning white supremacy, for example, and just shouting back with Chris Wallace as well. So I wanted to highlight this because if you're still looking for a reason to vote for Biden, okay, you don't buy that Trump is an existential threat to our democracy. You don't buy that he may refuse to leave office and contest the legitimacy of the election. You don't buy that he's allowing Wall Street and corporations to run rampant and that he's could have saved so many lives in the middle of this pandemic and that he's destroying healthcare and all of those things, right? He's a white supremacist himself. Climate change alone, I think, in terms of harm reduction politics, which I believe in, you fight like hell in the primary and then you reduce the harm in the general. That's how I believe it. I think that's enough. You have one guy who's deregulating everything and one guy that believes in climate change and will do something about it even if it's not far enough. Throughout his presidency, Trump reversed many American commitments to mitigating climate change, most notably pulling out of the Paris Agreement, removing clean water protections, and seeking to fast-track environmental reviews of dozens of major energy and infrastructure projects such as drilling, fuel pipelines, and wind farms. Biden has countered the Trump administration's policies by promising to protect the environment with the proposed $5 trillion plan. In January, Trump removed Obama-era clean water protections intended to protect rivers, streams, wetlands, and other bodies of water from pollution and runoff from industrial facilities and agriculture. Biden has pledged to ensure all communities have safe drinking water and to prevent pollution of water in vulnerable communities such as Flint, Michigan, by taking action against fossil fuel companies and other polluters that put profit over people. By the way, Obama wasn't successful in Flint at all, but anyway. By knowingly harming the environment or conceal information regarding potential environmental and health risks, according to his campaign website. In addition, during his time in the Senate, Biden co-sponsored the Ocean Dumping Ban Act of 1988, which prohibited dumping sewage, sludge, and industrial waste. while visiting California amid devastating wildfires raging up and down the West Coast earlier this month, Trump expressed skepticism that climate change was to blame. In 2018, Trump said he didn't believe a major federal report's findings from 300 experts, including from 13 federal agencies, that climate change would hurt the economy. Biden's plan to address the climate emergency would aspire to a 100% clean energy economy and reaching net zero emissions no later than 2050, according to his campaign website. All right, 2050 is too late, but right there, Trump removed protections so that there could be runoff that goes into streams and wetlands and water sources. What? Like, guys, that is enough for me, right? Even if you don't care about the coasts being completely eroded and the water levels rising and all of the massive amounts of issues that will result in the climate being irreparably changed. Your water could be more polluted because Trump's in office, okay? There you go. Is that enough of a reason? I don't really know. At this point, I don't know. I was shocked and horrified, or not shocked, but I was horrified by that debate performance last night. And I think if there's one issue where it's as clear as day, climate change is the issue. Biden will do something about climate change while Trump will actively work to destroy the planet.